I want to welcome you today to this most important topic that all of us have dedicated so many years to. First, I'd like to introduce our chair of the Maryland Higher Education Commission, Anwar Hassan, for a few words.
Thank you, Jim. On behalf of the Maryland Higher Education Commission, I would like to welcome all of you for attending the 2019 College Completion Summit. As chair of the Maryland Higher Education Commission, we are constantly working towards our goal, providing Maryland students a new avenue of access while encouraging success through innovation. Under Secretary Fielder's leadership, MEC has made significant progress in providing access to more students to achieve college graduation.
The most significant part about it is to increase student success with less debt. So when we're talking about success, if you achieve your degree, but it takes you 8 years, you've just accumulated more debt, most likely. So we want to speed things along, make things more transparent, make it easier for students to know what they're going to be taking, what transfers, what's acceptable. Look for the scholarships that helps them move through faster.
I know Maryland is doing a lot in the area of apprenticeship, and I hope that all of you are involved in those efforts. We certainly are trying to expand the role that we play in apprenticeship, and not just formal registered apprenticeships, but all kinds of apprenticeships. We think for many students, if they are able to engage in work-based learning, it gives them a practical application of what they're doing in the classroom. And from a very practical perspective, apprenticeships allow them to earn while they're learning, and in many cases, the employer will pay for their time in the classroom, meaning paying their tuition as well as paying them wages while they sit in the classroom.
One very critical issue about college affordability, of course, is how much money do people have? One reason college has, of course, gotten more expensive over time, but family and household incomes have stagnated or fallen at some levels of the income distribution. That's a huge factor. Even if college weren't getting more expensive, it would be harder to pay for because of what's happening to people's incomes. So strengthening the economy is a critical way of making college more affordable, both because it increases the amount of money people have in their pockets at the time they go to college, and because it increases the amount they earn after they pay for college.
This is very important to us because we understand the shifting demographics, Secretary Fielder, in our state, and we understand the type of talent that our state must produce if it's going to be competitive, not just tomorrow, but 20, 30 years from now when these young people are in their 30s, 40s, and early 50s.
It's critical to students' success. Students really do need to see themselves as college students and to know that the individuals at the institution, be they faculty or counselors and advisors or administrators or staff, truly believe they belong there and that they can be successful. And that being successful doesn't mean you don't run into problems, you don't run into challenges, but rather we're here to help you through those challenges. And in fact, those challenges are actually expected.
It's okay to talk with someone about if you're hungry or if you're homeless or if you're at risk of having your power turned off, if you know that those services are right there for you to take advantage of.
Not everyone's path is going to be the same, which is why all of you are here today talking about the multifaceted ways in order to be able to educate and train our wonderful Marylanders. But when you do finish college, you know that something amazing is going to happen.
When we have different graduation rates with the institutions at 30%, others at 84+%, is unacceptable. The acceptance of low expectation is a worse form of discrimination, and we have committed to change that through many of our different programs, through the access, providing scholarships so that we can change that.
Well, we're on track and we're ahead. So we're doing well, not resting on our laurels, but doing well, and I think we're on target to have the 55% with an associate's degree by 2025.
So as you can see from this, we are ahead of our goal,
And public 4 years in the community colleges have contributed tremendously to our success in being beyond where we estimated we would be at this time. Statewide, we are approximately 40,000 degrees above, or 11% above the goal where we should be right now based on the model.
While we are ahead of the game right now, we are going to have to work even harder over the next 7 years to really meet that goal for 2025. So this is the perfect time to talk about equity gaps. This is the perfect time to talk about how we are serving our non-traditional students, first-generation students, students who have never thought about stepping onto a college campus, and really making sure that they have every opportunity to be successful.
There's a lot of reasons why people who attend open access colleges may have lower graduation rates than people at selective colleges. People who go to open access colleges tend to be attending part-time. They tend to be working while going. They also tend to usually have family responsibilities that they might have to attend to, or they have they tend to be older, so they have more complications in their life. But the biggest reason really that the graduation rates are lower is resources.
And so what we need to understand is that the students that we serve, the 18 to 22-year-old, is in the minority in terms of the students that are being served by higher education. It's only about 30% in terms of who we serve. So we cannot forget this other 70%. Those students that are 25 years of age and older, they may have a little college but no degree. That's the growth area, that 25 to 50. And we cannot take our eyes off of that population.
Really what we need to do to reduce that amount of borrowing, to increase college completion and make college more affordable, is give people better guidance, not only when they're in college, but before they go to college. They need help to know where to enroll, what to study, when to study. We need to understand that they know why they're doing it. They know what their outcomes are likely to be. They also, of course, need more need-based aid, but that's not enough. Money is not enough. They need more guidance. They need more support for completion. The institutions need to have the resources required to provide that support. Making it cheaper doesn't necessarily and may work in the other direction from making sure that there are the resources students need to succeed and to graduate in a timely manner.
Own the individual that you got to know in your classroom, your training program, connect them with someone else, give them that credential, that next step so that they can have access to jobs. That's what it's really about. It's not about being ranked, it's not about the percentages, it's about making an impact on individual lives and giving them a chance for success in their career path.
Really getting to know your student and, making that connection and understanding exactly what those students actually need, because I think that a lot of the times that may get overlooked in higher education. So I think that that's of the utmost importance.
Higher education is a major source of economic power and an engine for economic development and job creation across the state. Completing your college education, getting that degree in your hand, gives you power in the job market, and it gives you something employers need.
Is at that 5-year mark, people in the still in college group are making about $5,500. The median is about $5,400 for the quarter. If you do some rough math, that's about $21,000 for the year that these people have earned, if that holds. For the bachelor's degree people, what we're looking at is at that 5-year mark, a $9,500 median wage, which is about $38,000 for the year. And so if you do some rough math and kind of think about that, it means that people have stayed in college and are actually losing money, $16,000 a year. If they'd been able to finish that bachelor's degree, get into the marketplace, they have that earnings potential that they've foregone in that additional year.
It was wonderful to have Diane Jones on there because she talked about the partnership, the triad between the state and the accreditors, and they just finished a negotiated rulemaking, so she's talking about the Department of Ed working more collaboratively with the states.
I think the department has had an adversarial relationship for some time with accreditors in particular. We're trying to mend those fences and say, no, we work together as a triad. And we work together for the benefit of students. And by the way, that means we have to work with institutions and try to, identify warning signs and work with schools so that we don't end up with precipitous closures that are a disaster for everybody.
Don't underestimate those that are not prepared for college in terms of not just the academic, but it's the things that happen outside the classroom. I heard that spoken several times, and so we always talk about, are you financially and academically prepared? There are so many things that happen outside the classroom that really interfere with higher ed.
We admit students to our institutions. We even accept their money or taxpayer money or however they are financing their education. Yet for a large proportion of them, we call them not college ready, right? That's on us, right? That's something we did. That's a norm that we created. And those are things that students pick up on. And in many cases, those types of things can be very discouraging.
Well, I walked away with where we're at in the state and meeting the goals. But I think just as important is the collaboration and the interaction with everyone from the presidents of other universities to folks that are in different facets, but all working together to try and make this happen.
A lot of times the only way I encounter MHEC is students coming in saying they got funds from MHEC coming into one of our programs, and which is obviously a big deal and a good thing, but just seeing kind of like the background information and seeing why those funds are so important and what the initiatives that MHEC is pushing was really exciting to see that.
We spent a lot of time and conversation today about data, and again, remember, use it as a flashlight. There will be people who want to use it as a hammer, and usually they're the ones that are beating on you. Use it as a flashlight of what you can show them that can change. Again, thank each one of you for being here and being a leader. Being a leader as compared to a manager is so important. And it's like when you visualize, have you ever tried to push a string or take a chain that's linked, steel length, that's 5 feet long, try to push it? How well does that work? Pull it. Just think of that when you're thinking in your mind about what you're going to change on campus. You lead the change. Don't try to manage it. And you think of the twin sisters of leadership. The first one is the optimism. That's what you bring. The other part of the twin sister is the inspiration. You use your optimism to create inspiration within your team and lead the change. The tremendous support we're receiving in Annapolis with all the sectors of higher ed working together is being seen by the leadership. They understand that increasing success with less debt is so important for our future. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here, and let's try to change some things. Thank you very much.